Hello, welcome to MBC News, and you are with me, Everest Jingambi. Coming up this afternoon, President Mutharika is expected to preside over the commissioning of the Malawi Defense Force officer cadets in Salima tomorrow. Teenage pregnancies continue to rise despite government's intervention to end the vice. And in sports bodies called to create a conducive environment for female sports journalists to thrive. Thank you for joining us. Now the news in detail. President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, the Commander-in-Chief of the Malawi Defense Force MDF, is expected to preside over the commissioning of the Malawi Defense Force officer cadets. According to a statement from the Chief Secretary, Justin Saidi, the event will take place at the Malawi Armed Forces College, MAFCO, in Salima from 10 o'clock in the morning. And our next story, member states of the African Union, AU, and the European Union have agreed to continue collaborating in addressing challenges facing the two continents, including strengthening trade ties. This is in the declaration of the 7th AU-EU Summit, which has ended in Luanda, Angola. Malawi was represented by Vice President Dr. Jane Ansah. Simeon Boyce with the details.
Heads of state or their representatives from African Union, AU, and European Union, EU, attended the AU-EU 7th Summit in the capital city of Angola, Luanda. The gathering was historic as it marked 25 years of partnership since the inaugural summit, which was held in Cairo, Egypt in 2022. During the two-day talks, the two blocs reaffirmed their commitment towards implementing the development programs under the joint vision for 2030, which was adopted at the 60th AU-EU Summit, which was held in Brussels, Belgium in 2022. The projects include the Africa-Europe Global Gateway Investment Package, which is designed to strengthen support for Africa industrialization, diversification, and integration in African Continental Free Trade Area, AFFTA, to improve trade. The project involves the construction of transport infrastructure, such as roads and railway lines that can link Africa and Europe, including Nakara Corridor railway line that connect Malawi, Zambia, and Mozambique to the ocean. In the declaration, the EU has also agreed to accelerate investments in green energy, transport, and digital infrastructure. On agriculture and climate change, delegates at the summit have agreed to strengthen partnerships for food security, sustainable agriculture, and fisheries. EU has also reaffirmed its commitment towards the Paris Agreement and commitment to global climate change. On migration, the two blocs have agreed to combat irregular migration to strengthen legal channels for students and professionals. On her part, Malawi Vice President Dr. Jane Ansah, who led the Malawi delegation at the summit, describes it as successful.
We have put forward our concern, and this partnership, it is a win-win partnership. Europe needs us and Africa needs them. They are not coming here to give us charity. It is at an equal basis that we are doing trade. So Malawi should be expectant that from this partnership will not be left out, will be included.
Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Dr. George Chaponda, says Malawi will continue to cooperate with other nations and international organizations such as AU and EU in order to push forward Malawi's development priorities in trade, transport, and energy.
European Union in the context of Malawi is our strongest partner, among the strongest partners. And we rely upon them in terms of the grants which they have given us, loans and technical assistance, facilitation of trade, and even energy. There's so much.
For Angola, hosting the 7th AU-EU summit was an icing on the cake, as the country is also celebrating its 50th year independence in the month of November this year. Simeon Boyce, MBC News, Luanda, Angola.
The Malawi Police Service has intensified investigations on property looting at Kamuzu Palace in Lilongwe. Speaking to MBC, Deputy National Spokesperson Alfred Chimtere said the law enforcers have already made one arrest in relation to the development. He speaks to our reporter Geoffrey Shinawa.
The rumors circulating in the social media alleging the arrest of the 60th president of Malawi is not true. There is no arrest warrant for the former president. As police, we are reminding everyone to either confirm or verify their stories with our official channels to avoid sharing false and misleading stories in the social media. Meanwhile, the probe following reports of property looting at Kamuzu Palace, one of the state residences, is still ongoing. We assure the public that the investigation is going on smoothly.
Inadequate forest guards and vehicles for forest patrols are derailing efforts to effectively manage Kaningina and other forest reserves in the northern region. Communications Officer for Forestry Zonal Office for the North, Kelvin Chisaka, said the department needs support from different stakeholders, including surrounding communities, to collaborate with them to protect the forest. Chimwemwe Milulu with the details.
Forests are very crucial in maintaining biodiversity, supporting agriculture, and regulating climate. Kaningina and many other forests in Malawi are facing significant challenges due to wanton cutting down of trees for charcoal burning and illegal logging. The current trend is threatening the biodiversity richness of forests such as Kaningina, which the Department of Forestry has been protecting since 1935. Matthew Nkhata, a resident of Nsongwe, which is one of the areas bordering the forest reserve, says most of those engaged in the cutting down of trees are citizens that do not appreciate the importance of forests, and there is need for the Department of Forestry to promote community-led initiatives to save the resource. Communications Officer for the Northern Zonal Forestry Office, Kevin Chisaga, says the department is incapacitated to effectively manage the forests.
The Kaningina Forest Reserve borders, it takes two districts. We have Nkarabe district, and is also managed by Nzuzu Urban District Forest Office. So these offices do not have the capacity to manage the reserves in terms of the forest guards. They have not an adequate forest guard. We have still a shortage, although the department is trying its level best to recruit more forest guards, but we still have inadequate forest guards. That's one of the setbacks which we have. Another challenge is that we don't have the equipment to manage, such as maybe vehicles, which can be used and be landing on the ground to conduct law enforcement exercise.
Kaningina Forest is the source of water for Nzuzu and other surrounding areas. According to Global Forest Watch, Malawi loses between 30,000 and 40,000 hectares of forest area annually, the highest deforestation rate in Southern Africa. The main drivers of forest losses are agricultural expansion, tobacco growing, and excessive biomass use for cooking and heating, as most communities in the country rely heavily on forests for their livelihoods. Chimwemwe Milulu, MBC News, Mzuzu.
Teenage pregnancies continue to rise despite government's intervention to end the vice. The 2024 Malawi Demographic Health Survey shows calls for innovative strides in the fight against teenage pregnancies. Trinity Kapantengo takes a closer look at the challenges affecting progress.
For years now, teenage pregnancies have been a hot topic, triggering multiple stakeholders, including government, to come up with initiatives that mitigate or end the rising issue. As one of the interventions, ensuring access to sexual and reproductive health services like contraceptives stands out as one of the initiatives to mitigate such issues. Deputy Director of Reproductive Health, Hans Katengeza, says the ministry is intensifying efforts, but social and cultural beliefs hinder progress despite community engagement.
As Minister of Health, we try to advocate for the use of contraceptives to avoid unintended pregnancy. Like Minister of Health, we can try our best to put all the elements like the contraceptives and all that to be available in everywhere. But the custodians of culture now in the villages, they are the ones that can turn around all those efforts to make sure that we are producing impactful results at the end of the day. But what is happening now, it's like the intended results are not happening as planned. Why? Because we still have some challenges down there at the community.
Assemblies of God Secretary General Reverend Matilda Matabwa praises government action but opposes contraceptives, saying they encourage risky behavior. She further urges churches to promote abstinence.
As a church, we have a stand because the church, we preach transformation. As a church, we preach spiritual renewal. As a church, we preach holiness. So, as a church, we believe that if one or a young person or the youth abstain, then they will be able to prevent the teenage pregnancies. And that, so we seek to abstain according to the word of God.
Agnes, not real name, who got pregnant at 16 and 18, says she avoided contraceptives due to stigma and fear of parental disappointment, which she points out is a common issue among youths.
The main reason for youth to hesitate taking contraceptives is the stigma that surrounds SRHR services, as well as the fear of parental disappointment if they realize that their child is using contraceptives.
Youth advocate Chifondo Robert blames secrecy around the sexual and reproductive health topic and calls for open discussions to improve access to services and curb rising teenage pregnancies.
It's high time that we level the discussion between these two demographic populations, more especially on the services. So I feel like it's high time that these people have to be discussing. Parents have to be open enough to their kids. And of course, at the same time, in schools, traditionally, I think there has to be, through the groups, the existing groups in secondary schools, like, for example, the mother groups, the PTAs, I think those are the groups. They have also to be sharing information around access to SHR services and what.
Cultural and traditional beliefs have also been blamed for a part in rising teenage pregnancies. Commenting on the issue, Mlako Walomwe chairperson Muchana Mpuluka says they have long abolished harmful cultural practices that may encourage risky behavior among youths and enforced by laws to prevent early marriages and pregnancies.
We as Mlako Walomwe, we agreed that we should take out all cultural beliefs that were there and influencing kids to start doing things that adults do before their time. We removed all those. And if anything, we also mandated the chief, not only the primary chief, but all the chiefs, that whenever they see maybe a kid doing something else, not going to school, they should reprimand even the parents of that kid. So we are working, we are doing our best to work on this so that the lies should not be there, but our kids should go to school.
Despite the efforts, rural teenage pregnancies are said to be on the rise over the years. If unchecked, risks include several health problems as well as social and economic consequences. With little common ground on the approaches, the problem remains significant to the nation. Time to find solutions is now before the country suffers further consequences of a young population failing to realize their full potential. Trinity Kapantengo, MBC News, Lilongwe.
You're watching MBC News and you are with me, Evelis Chingambe. A reminder of the top stories. President Mutharika is expected to preside over the commissioning of the Malawi Defence Force officer cadets in Salima tomorrow. Teenage pregnancies continue to rise despite government's intervention to end the vice. And in sports bodies called to create a conducive environment for female sports journalists to thrive. Welcome back. Cement prices continue to decrease in some townships within Blantyre City. MBC Sport checks at some retail and wholesale selling points discovered that a 50-kilogram bag of Koma cement is going at 20,000 kwacha, while Trirakrit is fetching 33,000 kwacha. James Kajeba with the full story.
Meet Enoch Nglinja in Chirimba Township. He is happy to have resumed the project of constructing his house. He suspended the project over 5 months ago due to not only scarcity but also higher prices the commodity used to fetch at the market. He is proud that the project will now cost him less.
There is a difference on where we used to buy a bag of cement some months ago and now. Cement was costly and we could not afford. Now it's better that we are able to buy cement at affordable prices. We are really appreciate for this. Previously, one could have money, but you could not get a commodity. The cement I am buying now, I want to use it in the ongoing house project.
A spot check by MBC reveals that availability and reduction of prices of cement is creating a busy environment in the construction industry. Kondwani Ndakoka, a salesman at one of the cement selling points within the city, says cement business has drastically improved.
Now cement price is going down in terms of companies, so they give us a good price. As we compare us 2 months ago, we have been receiving cement in high prices. So now, because companies give us good prices, now we are trying to make discount prices. That makes us to make business in this town. Okay, we can start from Juragate, because last time 2 months ago we were usually selling it at 42,000. But as of now, it's at 5,000, which is something like 8,000 discount. Yeah, when we said about Koma, it's also the same. We have now like a discount of 7,000. Because last time it was 27,000, but as of now, it's 20,000, even 19,000 discount to give custom, which makes us to make business as possible.
For past 3 months, not only cement situation is registering improvements, but also maize and fuel. James Kachipa, MBC News, Blantyre.
Vandalism of Eskom property continues to hinder service provision of the utility body, calling on community leaders to join the fight. Clerk in the Office of Senior Chief Vumbwe in Cholo, David Rontiwa, said communities need to guard the property to ensure seamless supply of electricity in their localities. Rontiwa said this during Eskom's interface with community leaders in the district. We have a report. Transformers, meters, towers and cables are some of Eskom infrastructure that people have been vandalizing, prohibiting service delivery of the utility body. Clerk in the Office of Senior Chief Vumbwe, David Rontiwa, said times have changed and electricity has become a huge part of people's lives, as some households rely on energy to make a living, hence the need for communities to guard the property.
We have an initiative, or we have a role to play in sensitizing the masses or the community in trying to avoid the vandalism of Eskom property or Eskom transformers and all those things that make Eskom to work smoothly in bringing power to our homes. So we'll be sensitizing the people on the dangers of vandalism of Eskom property and also taking the ownership of what Eskom is providing to our areas.
Eskom's Chief Public Relations and Communications Officer, Pililani Phiri, said rampant cases of vandalism has placed the utility body in a fix and made them realize that they need to engage communities in curbing the vice.
It's a great buy-in, and we wish we had started this yesterday. Yesterday, I mean a long time ago, because like I've said, there is a buy-in, and we wanted to capitalize on that so that the local leaders should be the ears and eyes of ESCOM, because like I said earlier, we need the people to report vandalism, people to report on issues of safety and well-live, and we need the leaders to advance the issue of ownership. If there is a sense of ownership, they'll be able to report each other and to help us fight vandalism.
ESCOM is losing approximately 3 billion kwacha to vandalism annually, a development that Phiri said is crippling the expansion of the company's services. And now in sports, Malawi's growing sports sector continues to leave behind female sports journalists as stakeholders are failing to create a conducive and supporting working environment for the women in the field. Despite the rise of various women's sports disciplines, particularly women's football, the number of female sports journalists in the country remains worryingly low. Smart Chalika reports.
Long-serving and award-winning sports journalist Lusega Dzongwe told MBC that many women are discouraged from entering or remaining in the profession due to the hostile and unaccommodating environment within the sports industry. Kadzongwe notes that low self-esteem among female journalists also contributes to the dwindling numbers, stressing that the sector has not done enough to motivate or support aspiring women. She urged stakeholders to take deliberate steps to bridge the gender gap and empower women to thrive in sports journalism.
Women are lacking exposure to show what they have or what they are capable of doing. And another thing is that women lack training. Of course, it's a general problem. Even men, they are not trained in sports reporting. But for a woman to venture into sports reporting, I think there is need of a bit of a push. There is need for a bit of motivation because we feel it's a men-dominated field.
Sports analyst Henry Gome notes that the growth of sports, especially women's football, demands a corresponding increase in trained and empowered female reporters. He challenged sports associations to take responsibility and help address the shortage, noting that the balanced representation is key to the sector's development.
The sports associations that we have, they should involve, probably maybe organize some training, for invite these female journalists and training them, ask them, why is it that you are not interested to report sports, and offer them training, capacity building, so that they should be able to also take interest in these in reporting various sporting disciplines that we have.
Speaking during the Empowering Women in Sports Journalism workshop in Longwe, Malawi Olympic Committee President Japi Muhango admitted that more must be done to level the playing field and ensure female journalists are given equal opportunities to flourish. Muhango stressed the importance of creating an enabling environment that encourages more women to join and thrive within the sports media industry.
We need to level the playing field, and that is what is contained in the Olympic Charter, equality. So men and women must operate at the same level. And in line with that, we believe that this workshop will go a long way in empowering women sports journalists to also up their game, to claim their space.
Smart Chalika, MBC, Lilongwe.
Still in sports, the Southern Region Football Association will share subventions to all clubs that are participating in the Premier and Division 1 leagues. The committee's chairperson, Didas Kajala, told NBC Sport that the finances will help clubs to compete well.
We are happy that we are having the 16 teams to each group, but going forward, we need very big sponsorship. It's our plans, or we are just projecting to say by next year we are trying to find ways on all the teams participating in our leagues, say in Premier or Division 1. All teams should have something at the end of the season. So we are trying to meet the sponsors, setting our ideas. If all goes well, then next year maybe we can start, as all the teams should be getting something at the end of the season. Blantyre has dominated, having 16 teams, 13 out of 16. But next year you will see, because the Division 1 has spread all the teams in all districts. So I can assure you, by the end of, say, 5 years, you'll see more teams from different districts.
And that's it from our newsroom this afternoon. A recap of our top stories before we leave. President Mutharika is expected to preside over the commissioning of the Malawi Defense Force officer cadets in Salima tomorrow. Teenage pregnancies continue to rise despite government's intervention to end the vice. And in sports bodies called to create a conducive environment for female sports journalists to thrive. For more updates, visit our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You have been with me, Eveles Chingambe. Thanks for watching and good afternoon.
Catch the best entertainment for your whole family with Azam TV. Sports, movies and series, news across the borders, kids, documentaries and lifestyle, music, and regional channels including Malawi. Azam TV, entertainment for everybody.
Hello and welcome to NBC Exclusive. This week we speak to Ida Puliwamango, founder and executive director of Otakaraka Foundation. She wears many hats. Some of them include a humanitarian specialist, a girl-child education champion, and many others. Ida Puliwamango, welcome to NBC Exclusive.
Thank you so much.
So Ida, as we've heard, you wear so many hats, but I would really want to know about your story, where it begins from. In summary, I know it's been a long journey, but how